Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we're going to talk very quickly about Magatamas, but before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share and subscribe if you enjoy the content. So this video is for players who are already in the mid game. If you are still in the early game and you have troubles farming the hard stages of the events, if you have trouble farming the secret daily quest, then perhaps this isn't for you just yet, but it's also good to get the notions of what to do in the future. So if you want to stick around, that's fine. So talking about Magatamas, let's say that you are already in the mid game, you have a good amount of max level 5 Magatamas, SR Magatamas, that you use to increase your damage. And maybe you made some perfect Magatamas, but not all of them are perfect. Some might be, I don't think I have one. Let's see. No, I don't have something that is not perfect. Sorry guys, I don't have an example. Let's see. No, I don't. There, this works. So let's say that you have some Magatamas. Imagine that they are all damage increase, but none of them are maxed out. That's a good starting point. The first thing that you want to do with your Magatamas is that you want them to be of the same effect, to maximize their proficiency on what they do. Depending on what kind of color you are using, for yellow you want critical damage. Critical rate, while I have some of those, they are totally useless and not important, so try to avoid them. Go for critical damage. Critical damage is going to be one of the best effects that you can equip. It's better than a perfect set of damage to all enemies Magatamas, as long as you're able to crit. In VR, there's a point where you cannot crit, so keep that in mind. Working on the damage against all enemies, it's fine, but having more than one set, it's not a good idea. One set is more than enough at the start of the game. And if you don't complete it, that's also fine, because you'll eventually move to traits against specific enemies. Anti-demon, anti-human, anti-machine. That's what you want to be working on. You need to, first of all, roll any perfect anti-demon, anti-trait, or anti-machine. And keep rolling and keep rolling. And when you have between 2 or 3 perfects, you can decide what kind of perfect anti-trait Magatama that's going to be. Let the Magatama decide for you at the beginning. When you already have enough sets, you're going to force yourself to a specific trait. But at the beginning, let the Magatama decide for you. If you roll, let's say, anti-demon, then this is not perfect. Then another anti-demon perfect. Then anti-machine perfect. And then another one that is not at 3.0, then go for anti-demon. Reroll this that isn't at max just yet and see if you can get an anti-demon. If you get another anti-machine, the last slot is going to determine whether you go anti-machine or anti-demon with this Magatama. I know it sounds like a hassle, but it is the most efficient thing that you can do when you're mid-game, because you want to save your resources. So let the Magatama decide. When you are at a stage that you already have a huge amount of, well, this one doesn't work. Let's go with this. A huge amount, a disgusting amount of bits, then you can start forcing yourself into getting the effects that you want. For that, I know it seems like a lot and it's unlikely that you do that, but trust me, you will reach that very easily as long as you play constantly. It is particularly easy if you take advantage of the AP reduction campaigns for dailies and you spend all your syringes. I have an absurd amount of syringes. Maybe you players, most players have, let's say 100, and you also have a couple hundreds of this. So spend all of those whenever there's AP campaigns. That way you will get enough resources. Spend it on gold a little bit, but mostly on bits. Then Magatamas. So for red and blue, you want anti-traits. For blue, I would say that you only need 2 sets of perfect Magatamas. A set is 4 Magatamas, just so that you know. Why 2 sets? Because that's for PvP. If you are not a PvP enthusiast, don't even bother with these ones. The most optimal thing to do is go full damage and abuse Oboro. I mean, there's other options, but I always go to BR in most of my builds with full red Magatamas. There's a couple exceptions when I want to use a tank. But for that, let's say that you do want to have a tank. In that case, just have one set for each trait. One for anti-demon, one for anti-human, one for anti-machine. That's going to be 4 of each. That might sound like a lot, but you will get there. Important, very important. Do not upgrade your SR Magatamas into UR Magatamas until you have them perfect. Rerolling a UR Magatama is expensive, very expensive, and not only on the gold department, also on the, wait a second, I need this. Not only on the gold department, but also on the UR bit department. These ones are not as common because we cannot craft them. And even though I have this is a small amount, trust me, this is a small amount. So you need around this amount to maybe get a chance to get a good roll, but it is not guaranteed. So do not evolve your Magatamas until they are perfect. That's a golden rule, trust me. In regards to HP, the only effect that it's worth it, in my opinion, is the HP increase. If you want to increase your HP, then go for HP increase. That's why green only I have with HP increase. And yeah, that's all the colors. Let's see. Now, let's talk very quickly about how many sets of attacks Magatamas do you want to have. Ideally, you have minimum 3. Okay? So, you want 1 set per character that you can have on BR, basically. So, yeah, it has the Magatama. So, all of these are anti-demon. Okay. Then, all of these are anti-demon too. And lastly, all of these... Well, I have one more, but it's not equipped. Maybe it's... Let's see. Machine. Human. Machine. Demon. Well, I don't have it over here, but I have the other one. This character is using an SR weapon. That's why you don't see the 4, but I do have the 4. So, just so that you know, you want 3 sets for anti-demon, anti-human, anti-machine, so that you can fight on BR. You don't need them right away. In fact, you can work with SRs, you can work with not perfect Magatamas. It's gonna be fine. Just keep working little by little. And also, regarding the elements, let's see. Can I? Yes, I can. I just need... let's go with this one. So I'm going to use the ticket, but I'm not going to use the ticket. So for the elements, basically you want to have 1 set for wind, 1 set for water, and your 3rd set of Magatamas can be for anti-demon, fire, or ice. For anti-human, yin-yang, or earth. And for anti-machine, wood or thunder. If you're a PvP enthusiast, maybe you want to build those, but you're gonna need more sets of Magatamas. Personally, I am building 4 sets of attack Magatamas so that I can have a set of wind, a set of water, a set of damage increase against a specific trait, and a set of damage reduction against a specific trait. An example would be this one. I have the... Let me just go to Arena one more time so that I can show you. I'm gonna put the anti-machine. Yeah, this is the anti-machine. So for anti-machine, I have this one that gives me damage increase against machine type enemies. It's not a lot, but it is something. And I have also this one that gives me damage reduction against anti-machine. And I don't have them equipped, but I am still working on I think I have the for anti-machine wind, but I'm still working on the anti-machines waters that I don't have. So while it is very taxing, it takes a lot of time to get 4 sets with the right elements and perfect. The advantage of actually doing that is that you get versatility. If you don't want to commit that much to this game, that's fine. Go for 1 set of preferably wind and water. Wind and water are the best too, because those work for range attackers and melee attackers. And the ones that give you damage increases specific against a specific traits are also good. Just one thing. Wood is particularly good because it has a great effect. The other ones don't have a great effect. For example, let's see. No. Again, I take this. I do this. So this one gives speed reduction. Inflicts a speed reduction to the enemy, but you need to get hit, which is bad. This one, but it also gives you defense against humans, so that's kind of good. This one inflicts bleed, pretty bad debuff. This one inflicts a snare when you get hit. Snare is worth it. You can put this on a tank, and you're gonna snare the enemy. It's amazing. This one is stuns, which is usable, but super armor is a thing, so not great. Obviously this I said they are good because they give you speed increase. This one freezes the enemy. Good for PvP, not that impressive for PvE, so I suggest you don't take that. And the fire one burns the enemy, which is a nice debuff, but since you do not control the skill that inflicts the debuff and the damage from the burn depends on the skill, it is not that great. So yeah, go for water and wind. That's my recommendation. For HP Magatamas, how many do you want to have? Honestly, at most 2 perfect sets. I have like 3 perfect sets, and I don't need 3 perfect sets. 2 is a big amount, and 1 is more than enough if you want a tank. The HP Magatamas are better for characters who abuse any kind of HP regen. Not any kind. HP regen like percentage base. Because in the case of regen attacks that give you HP based on the damage that you deal, these Magatamas are not that great. So if you're using, for example, let's go with blue, because blue has those. If you're using a Kiraram, a Murasaki, a Salt Murasaki, if you're using, Akina, the HP Magatamas are a good idea. Though you can also do with defensive Magatamas, those are also great. But the performance is going to be based on the kind of supporters that you can equip. If your supporters are at a good enchantment level, then you can go with defensive. If you don't have good enchantment level, but you actually have good damage reduction on the supporters, like let's say, where are you? Nana. Oops, that was my controller. So if you have Nana, then you can go with HP Magatamas because she gives a huge amount of damage reduction, which is a great idea. So let's see. In regards to crit, why do I not recommend going for critical rate? Because as you progress in the game, you're gonna be enchanting your weapons, and this gives you more critical. And critical, that's the thing with Gremory. They never explain thoroughly their effects, because supposedly this is going to give you critical damage and critical rate, and the levels should affect the damage formula or the critical rate chance. I don't know. They aren't the most transparent. It's not like Pokemon when you can check the damage formula and do the math easily. So in any case, you're gonna have more chances as you progress and you enchant your weapons, and as you add more copies to them, so that you reach a higher S level. So that's why you don't need the critical rate Magatamas. Just critical damage is good, but you can only use that on normal content. What is not normal content? BR. BR is not normal because it has critical rate restrictions. You have to use special supporters that give you critical rate resistance reduction, like Murasaki, or a special character like, let's say, Shizuru with this weapon, or Eleanor, I think, also has something like that. So keep an eye on that. Basically, the critical Magatamas are going to be great for dailies, event, and tower. So no worries on that department. So, should you get an absurd amount of Magatamas like I do? No. You're fine with just a couple Magatamas. Yes, if you're a VR enthusiast, for sure get 3 sets of anti-trait Magatamas. Little by little. They don't have to be perfect at the beginning. They don't have to be you're gonna do fine. In fact, compensate for the stat difference. Like, the stat difference is not that big, but you can compensate with the corresponding anti-trait weapons. Anti-human. This one, anti-human. Let's see. Anti-demon. Anti-human. Anti-demon. Anti-machine. So there's a bunch of different weapons that you can equip. Well, this is crit, but this is anti-human, that you can equip and are going to give you a big damage boost. And they are not even they are SR, so they're definitely worth it. And while you do that, you are going to need only 3 Magatamas, so don't worry too much. You can do it. You're going to be able to reach these highs as long as you commit to the game and you play constantly. You don't have to do it. In fact, many players do combinations. I am aware that that's not the most optimal thing, but it gives you survivability, especially if you don't have the, let's say, awakening skills. That's really important. So when you're at the mid game, maybe you want to go with a combination of 1 HP Magatama, 1 defensive Magatamas with the most damage reduction that you can put it, and then your 2 attack Magatamas. That would be a great idea. If by any chance you are and you can combine the elements, let's say one what's the name? One green fire with one blue fire, and then maybe the other 2 red wind or another water maybe, then that would be better because you get more benefit from that. So try different combinations, guys. Do not be afraid just because your Magatamas are not perfect. Enhance them little by little. And trust me, I didn't reach this point out of nowhere. the start of VR was hellish, particularly because we didn't have the guaranteed drops of coins. But now it's bearable. And besides, you can keep farming. This might change in the future, but right now you can keep farming after you finish the coin limit, so that you get a chance to grab hammers. The most efficient thing is to go as far as possible in the steps, but there's also value in just going to step 1 and doing as many runs as you can. You get a couple, not that many, but a couple skill points which you can use to enhance your characters. You also have a good chance to get crystal fragment, which you can use to enhance your characters. The Magatamas, these Magatamas, are gonna be useful as fillers. In fact, the Magatamas, the penetration Magatamas, yeah, I'm missing that topic. The penetration Magatamas that I have do not have elements, actually, so they are easy to identify. So these ones used to be drop Magatamas, UR Magatamas, which I just level up to get the stats on the sub weapon. It was basically this. But then, since I had a ton of UR bits, I decided to start rolling and do the penetration Magatamas. Just to finish, what should I do about the penetration Magatamas? Is it worth it? Honestly, if you want to commit that much to the game, just 2 is more than enough. I mean, I am working to get the full set, but why 2 is more than enough? Because you also want the damage increase from the set from the other 2 Magatamas, and 10%, because if you saw my Magatamas, my penetration Magatamas give me 5%. 10% penetration is good enough, especially if you combine it with another source of penetration. Let's say Anna Rose on the main. Let's say, where is the other one? The problem is that these are limited. Tempest Lina is another great option, particularly good in my opinion, if you want penetration. So that's going to become a 30% here, and with Anna Rose is going to be a 34%, but when the enemy is stunned. That's the only issue. So you actually want to pair this with a White Feather Aska abuse strategy. So yeah, are Magatamas worth it? Yes, but do not rush. Do not think this is gonna be one day I have SR Magatamas and the next I have all of them UR. No, it takes a ton of time. Consider that I think it has been maybe a little bit more than a year since the implementation of VR, and I have not missed, or well, for the most part, there have been some exceptions, 1 or 2 exceptions, but in general, I have not missed a day of farming, and I have worked a lot to be able to claim the hammers, also the hammers that they give you in the login bonus. Let's see, not in the login bonus, in the packs, in the weekly free packs, or monthly, the monthly one. Yeah, once a month they give us one of these. So yeah, be sure to grab your hammers, but also prioritize this. You're gonna need the awakening skills too. And when you have enough hammers and crystals, you can change your objectives on the VR to grab the weapons. The weapons are your last priority because you can do with SR weapons. So while they are super useful, first you should grab Crystal Mirage because it's kind of rare at the beginning, then crystals and hammers, and lastly you go with crystal because you probably still have characters to level up. I do. And the weapons. So yeah, I hope you find this video useful. It is an extensive process, as you can see. I mean, gacha games are supposed to be played for a long time, so just do not despair. Rely a lot on your supporters. The Magatamas should be something that you work little by little. And besides, I encourage that you do not rush to use your boxes of hammers. Your natural hammers you can use, but your boxes of hammers, save them for special situations when you want to make something and you need to select the right hammer. Probably it's gonna be red. That's the one that we need the most, but even so. Well, that's gonna be it for today. I hope you find this useful, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye!